morning. Today we will have a look how we can use Tableau Prep with a Python script. We will try to encode data values using a Python file. Now, most of you who start with Tableau Prep and Python probably will start off by Googling. So if we Google Tableau Prep and script, we arrive at the official documentation of Tableau, where they teach you how to set up the connection and how to configure your server to allow a TabPy connection. Now, what we are interested in today is how we can make use of the code that is provided on the site. My first advice would always be to always check your code when copy pasting it from the internet, because during the process of having it copied to the website, some errors might have sneaked in. For example, this little Python code here, we're going to copy it and we're going to run it through a Python code checker. So let's have a look. When we check the syntax, we see that there is some error going on. In this particular case, the return function has been written with a capital R and it should be a small letter. So I'm going to correct it and check it. All right, we are good to go. Now, what are we going to do? Today we're going to try to encode values from a dataset. We will be making use of a thing called LabelEncoder and preprocessing. Okay, now whenever you make use of a Python file in prep, you will need to have an actual Python file. So let's take the code and open up Visual Code Studio. I'm going to paste it in, but as you can see, the code is not being recognized by Visual Code Studio yet. So what I will do is click on File, Save As, and for the purpose of this exercise, I will save it to my desktop and call it mycode.py, and I click Save. Now we see the code get interpreted immediately. Now let's go back for a moment and have a look at the manual of Tableau. When you read it carefully, you will learn that when you make use of Python scripts, you most of the time will also need to define a get output schema. What does that mean? When the columns you put into your script are different from your output, you will need to tell prep what that format will be. So you see, you define an output schema and you list literally the names of your output columns in combination with their data format. So let me proceed and add that little piece of code to what we already had in Visual Code Studio. There we go. And I'm gonna click Save. Good. Now, one little thing you also need to take into account is that you most of the time will be loading packages. So in this particular case, for the code we're using, we see pd, which is often used for importing pandas. So we will add to our script import pandas as pd. Good. Let's open Tableau Prep and see how far we already get with our little code. Okay, let's connect to our data. We are going to connect to our little Excel file called Encoder. I'm going to drag the data in. Just to give you an idea, this is still the data where we're working with. We will add a script by clicking on the little plus sign, add script, and we are going to connect to a remote TabPy server. In this case, it will be our server called pirate.biztory.com, running on port 905. I'm gonna add the password to it. Just a second. There we go. And we are making use of a secure SSL connection. I'm going to sign in, click next, and I still have one error. Oh, I didn't select my code. So I'm going to click select mycode.py. If you remember, the function was called Encode. And there we go. We have a successful running script which encodes our dimensional values into 0, 1, 2, 3. Now for the purpose of the demo, I have only done it for a few lines, but of course you can do it on your full dataset. Thank you for watching and see you next time.